Hello, 7th graders, and in our last section of probability, we are going to work on making predictions with theoretical probability. So let's jump right into our first example. You roll a standard number cube 150 times. Predict how many times you will roll a 3 or 4. So step 1 is to figure out the theoretical probability of rolling a 3 or 4. So the probability of rolling a 3 or 4 is 2 out of 6 because there are 2 events that make that possible. 2 out of 6. 2 events, either the 3 or the 4, and then there's 6 total, the 6 numbers on a number cube. So that probability is 1/3. And then the second step is to find the probability of the number of times that you roll the number cube, so 1/3 of 150. There's a couple of ways to do that. We can set up a proportion. So 1/3 equals x over 150, and then you cross multiply, so 1 times 150 equals 3 times x, or 150 divided by 3 equals x, so x is 50. We would predict 50 times. Method 2 is to set up an equation and solve. So we would actually just do 1/3 times 150, and if we type that into a calculator, we get x equals 50. So same answer. You can expect to roll a 3 or 4 about 50 times out of 150. If you're doing your own notes, I would actually label these as step 1, find the probability, and then step 2 has the 2 methods where you actually find the probability of the number of trials. All right, let's look at another example. Celia volunteers at her local animal shelter. She has an equally likely chance to be assigned to the dog, cat, bird, or reptile section. If she volunteers 24 times, how many times should she be expected to be assigned to the dog section? All right, so step 1, find the probability of being assigned to the dog section. Well, there are 4 sections. So the probability of being assigned to the dog section is 1/4. Step 2, we find the probability of the number of trials. So there's 24 times. We're going to find 1/4 of 24. We can either set up our proportion, then it ends up being 24 divided by 4, and x is 6. Or we could have set this up as 1/4 of, meaning times 24, which is still 6. So she can expect to be assigned to the dog section about 6 times. All right, your turn. I want you to pause the video, try these 2 problems on your own, and then play it back to see if you got it right. All right, predict how many times you will roll a number less than 5 if you roll a standard number cube 250 times. All right, a number less than 5, that's numbers 1 through 4. So the probability is 4/6 or 2/3. Then we need to find 2/3 of 250, which we enter into a calculator, and we get 166.6 repeating. We're going to round that up to 167. So you can expect to roll a number less than 5, 167 times. All right, second one, you flip a fair coin 18 times. How many times would you expect heads to appear? Well, the probability of heads is 1/2 because there are 2 sides to a coin. So we find 1/2 of 18. Hopefully we don't need a calculator for that one. You could expect heads to appear 9 times. All right, so our next example is going to look at events and their complement as well. So remember, a complement is the probability of it not happening, and an event and its complement added together equals 1. Okay, so Herschel pulls a sock out of his drawer without looking and puts it on. The sock is black. There are 7 black socks, 8 white socks, and 5 striped socks left in the drawer. He pulls out a second sock without looking. Is it likely that he will be wearing matching socks to school? So we're finding the probability that he pulls out a second black sock out of the 7 black, 8 white, and 5 striped socks in his drawer. And then we're also finding the probability that it does not match, so that it's not black. So the probability that it's matching Well, there are 7 black socks left out of 20 socks total. We got 20 by adding 7 plus 8 plus 5. That's 20 socks total in the drawer. So the probability that it's matching is 7/20. The probability that it's not matching, remember that's the complement, so we take 1 minus the probability that it happens. That's the probability that it doesn't happen. And to do 1 minus 7/20, we can pretend that 1 is 20/20. 20 minus 7 is 13. So the probability that the sock does not match is 13/20. So the probability that Herschel picks a matching sock, it's about half the probability that he picks one that does not match. It's a little more likely that he will not be wearing matching socks to school. All right, let's look at the second part of this example. Again, looking at complements. All 2,000 customers at a gym are randomly assigned a 3-digit security code that they use to access their online accounts. The codes are made up of digits 0 through 4, and the digits can be repeated. Is it likely that fewer than 10 of the customers are issued the code 103? Okay, so you have a 3-digit security code, and it's 0 through 4, which is actually 5 digits, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 0. So there's 5 possibilities for each digit, which means there are 125 possible combinations. 125 possible combinations. So this is only one combination. So the probability of the code 103 is only 1/125th. We got that because this is one event out of 125 total outcomes. So next we're going to find 1/125th out of 2,000. So we could set up a proportion, or if you like the other method, we could do 1/125th times 2,000, and we should get the same answer, 16. So it is not likely that fewer than 10 customers get the same code, because it's likely that 16 members get the code 103. And 16 compared to 10 is a little bit bigger. Okay, your turn. I want you to try numbers 3 and 4 on your own. Pause the video, play it back to see if you got it right. Okay, number 3. A bag of marbles contains 8 red marbles, 4 blue marbles, and 5 white marbles. Tom picks a marble at random. Is it more likely that he picks a red marble or a marble of another color? Well, 8 plus 4 plus 5, there are 17 marbles total. So the probability of red is 8/17. The probability of not red would be the probability of blue and white combined, or 1 minus 8/17. So other is 9/17. That's about half and half. So it's more likely that he picks another color, but only by 1/17. So it's pretty equally likely that he picks red or a different color. All right, number 4, at a fundraiser, a school group charges $6 for tickets for a grab bag. You choose one bill at random from a bag that contains 40 $1 bills, 20 $5 bills, 5 $10 bills, 5 $20 bills, and 1 $100 bill. Is it likely that you will win enough to pay for your ticket? Justify your answer. Okay, so it costs $6. So the only ones that would pay for the tickets are the 10s, 20s, and then that lucky one person with the 100 bill. And there are only 11 of those in the bag. There are 41s and 25s. So 11 plus 20 plus 40, there are 71 bills total. Only 11 of them will pay for your ticket. So that means the probability of you winning more than you paid is only 11 out of 71. It's not very likely that you win enough to pay for your ticket. All right, your homework today is just to do the notes, but make sure you tune into the Google Meets, because it's likely that I will assign these 3 problems or problems on the next page for your homework tomorrow.